This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, saving your day from boredom with the best podcasting entertainment.
What's up, real MVPs, Ricky Widmer here, and welcome into another episode of Listen Here, brother, dude, brother, we're here for Heel Talk, brother, and here's my cool dude, a part of the Mega Powers, dude, and here's Soapy Muffin. Soapy, again, Hulk Hogan, the macho, the Hulk Savage, the macho Hogan, he comes out again. How we doing, brother man?
I'm doing all right. You know, it's been hot. I'm not ready for summer already.
Today was that, as I get really close to my microphone, trying to see in the camera. Ooh, I got a zit under my nose. Today was that, like, where it's like in the morning, it's not hot, but it's like sticky.
It's like muggy.
Yeah, I didn't like it. At all.
Dude, it's not, like, realistically, like, most of the day I work inside, so it's like, okay, fine, whatever. When I'd have to go outside, I'd be like, because I had to go grab the mail or whatever at work. So I'm like, okay, I'll go grab the mail. I opened the door, felt the wave, and I'm like, can I go back inside? Because, like, it's not
air conditioned at work.
Yeah, it's air conditioned.
Okay.
I'd be crying if it wasn't.
Soapy's like, I'd quit if it wasn't air conditioned.
No, because for anyone who doesn't know, I work at a vet hospital. Obviously, I'm not going to dox exactly where I work. That'd be stupid.
Yeah.
But
he's in Traverse City. Get him, boys.
I'm in the Upper Peninsula.
He's actually in Toronto with JD. He's been Canadian this whole time.
My name's not even Soapy.
No, well, I hope it's not Soapy.
Who knows?
I have some questions.
Everyone only calls me that.
Even like people in IRL?
I mean, you guys only called me Soapy. Okay. I didn't hear a single utterance of my real name.
Well, here's the reason why. Is like, so when we met through YouTube Like, I don't know if people know this. You were a YouTube like me and you don't know each other in real life. We've met in real life, obviously, now. But we didn't know each other. You were just a YouTube commenter that commented on our I think it was the Too Old to Game videos is the ones that you found us on.
It was Too Old to Game, and it was the Rick and Johnny.
Okay.
Because I think the first one I commented on was like a Batman video.
Okay.
It was like a Batman, like what villain should we get for Batman? That's what I'm like. I'd like to see the crime families in a Mr. Freeze movie.
Yes.
I still stand by that, by the way.
And then I asked Mark and Dave the question. I asked Johnny the question. Would you eat a soapy muffin? I'm thinking like a blueberry muffin that's like doused in Dawn soap. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I mean, it's always a fair question.
Because like I've had obviously parents, and I've gotten my mouth washed out with soap a couple times, and it's not a great taste, but I think I could power through it.
Yeah.
Do you think you could power through the soapy muffin, or would you be able to? Would you have to like spit it out because you don't like the taste of soap? I
could probably power through it.
Okay, let us know what you
you don't
think.
Get to be a fat boy like me if you can't power through.
If every weird tasting, fat people just go, that tastes weird. Takes another bite.
Yeah, it's like, I'll get used to it.
I'll either get used to it or I'll just deal with it, whatever.
I basically gaslit myself into liking blue cheese. So, I mean, like...
You gaslit yourself into it?
Yeah, because literally, like, for the first, 5 times I ate it, I'm like, this is gross. This is the worst thing I've ever eaten. And by the 6th time, I'm like, it's not that bad.
But welcome into Heel Talk. This is the best podcast start that we have had. We're talking wrestling like we usually do every other week, every 2 weeks. Can find us on here on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Discord's down below. If you want to support us, Patreon's down below as well. Trying to think what else I'm forgetting. Social medias, those are also in the description. You can catch us there. Like button, sub button, all that good stuff. Obviously, comment below because Soapy, it's a bottle episode. It's a evergreen episode today of the Heel Talk podcast. Is we're recording on Monday. We're gonna get King of the Ring finals in about 2 hours. It's 8 o'clock. We're about an hour into Raw. The main event's going to give us our King of the Ring final. We'll get our Queen of the Ring final. We won't know the complete until Friday. Let's just go ahead and and push all that off. So we're going to do an evergreen episode. And I had the idea, Soapy. I was thinking today, people in wrestling, AEW, WWE, doesn't matter, TNA, New Japan, whatever you want, who's not over and how would you get them over? And for me, we could start with a plethora of areas, but I think we should start with the, like, when you say person who is not over, I think everybody's mind, you guys out there, when I said it, everyone's mind thought of the same wrestler in their head. Who do you think I'm talking about, Soapy?
Zoe Stark.
Zoe Stark. Because Soapy, I will say this, and maybe this is just my brain playing tricks on me. She should be over, no? Like, she's not bad. It's not like a Maxine Dupree, and I'm saying Maxine Dupree's getting better, but it's not like a, wow, this person doesn't know how to wrestle. It's not a Nia Jax situation of like, wow, I don't want this person wrestling. Like, Zoe Starks should be over. Why isn't she?
I think it's just the fact of, like, her personality and her character work is, like, just getting hit with, like, a wet paper bag.
Mm-hmm.
Of where it's just like, what just happened? Because realistically, like, the whole thing was when she was called up to the main roster, that's when she got paired with Trish right away.
Mm-hmm.
Which, like, I will say, I don't mind the pairing of her and Trish together.
Mm-hmm.
Because Trish, as much as I don't really care for Trish, like, I don't have the nostalgia of, you know, old Trish. I don't have that nostalgia. You know, so I look at it as like, oh, that was okay. But, like, her debuting, like, on the main roster as Trish's bodyguard, or kind of, like, basically lackey, was like, I'm like, okay, that's fine, but it's like, ever since then, like, she hasn't done anything. Zoe's just kind of been there. And it's I think the whole thing is, like, at least when it comes to, like, WWE, a lot of the stuff that connects you with the crowd is your personality.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know if there's a single defining characteristic I know of Zoe beside that she feuds with people who have butts on Twitter. That's it.
So she's just waiting for Nikita Lyons to come back for that big feud.
Yeah, she's waiting. At this point, send her back to NXT and have her be the booty hunter or whatever. And she just fights.
Shawn Michaels is finding the booty, so Zoe wouldn't have a problem finding opponents.
Yeah, he gets to fight like half the NXT roster at that point. But no, like, I think, like, that's the whole thing. It's just, like, she doesn't have a personality. She goes out there, wrestles, and then leaves, and that's it. Like, when she talks, it's eh.
Now, here's the thing I think, because I agree with you. I'll stand looking back, hindsight's 2020. Looking back, I don't like the pairing overall with her and Trish. At the time, I thought it was good. Okay, we can, like, give her something to bounce off of. In retrospect, it didn't help her at all. Trish did not, like, and I don't want to put all the blame on Trish, but Trish didn't help her. We'll say that. Like, I don't know behind the scenes if she maybe, like, helped as, like, a mentor, but on screen didn't help get Zoe over. And, like, the thing that I'm thinking of, and with Zoe, with us starting with Zoe Starks, do we need and I'm going to say the boring way to fix it of, like, oh, let's give her a manager. Let's give her a mouthpiece so that she can talk and do, like, I feel like most of, like, not most of them, but, like, some of the people I had asked you who you thought weren't over, and there's about maybe 3 that I can think of to where I think an easy fix would be, oh, give them a Paul Heyman type character. Give them somebody who will talk, who will be their advocate, who basically, maybe she just needs a hype man or a hype woman. Let's send someone out there that's just going to hype the everything about Zoe. Tell you why she should be your favorite wrestler. That kind of a thing.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's the thing. I've always been a major advocate for, like, I never understood why they stopped having managers. I never understood it. To me, it's like, if you look back at so many wrestlers throughout history, they're absolute nobodies without their manager.
Yeah.
Like, realistically, and I say this in the way of, like, do you think people would care as much about old Brock if he didn't have Paul Heyman talking for him?
No.
Yeah, like, that's
not,
he would have just been, like,
much.
Yeah, like, he still would have been pushed a lot, but, like, we saw very early in his career when he would talk that it was like, ooh, he stinks, the onto line. I can't. I'm not letting Brock live that down. Just because he can talk now doesn't mean he used to be able to. But like, the whole thing is like, I will never understand why they got rid of managers. I know that it was like some of the the manager talent was getting worse over time because as the old managers retired and new ones started, like they just weren't as good.
And you don't want it to be a crutch. You don't want everyone to have a manager. But sometimes there are wrestlers where it's like, because I like Zoe Stark. I'm gonna say it. I'm a Zoe Stark stan. I like the look that she has. I like her theme song. Like, with the theme song she has, she should be over. Her theme song is amazing. Please, I know they're going to Def Rebel it. Please don't. Please, like, just don't Def Rebel that song. But, like, is it also something of, like, we don't want to oversaturate the manager market? Because technically managers now, you have Paul Heyman with the Bloodline, Cody's reference that maybe he'll bring a manager into his championship run.
Let's be real here. We all know it's Arn.
Did you see what everyone on Twitter wants it to be?
Everyone wants it to be Jim Cornette. He's not coming back.
There's that, and then there's a couple people that want it to be a little bit of macho Miss Elizabeth, and Brandy's his manager.
Please, for the love of everything, keep Brandy off of my screen. Please.
What do you got? What do you got against Brandy?
I watched her in AEW for too long.
The only clip she's got is her and Jay Cargill.
Yes, and that's not even a good one.
Hey, Cody referenced it. He referenced it in WWE. Let's see. Who else do we have? We've got technically Paul Ellerly with the Final Testament. Technically Bobby Lashley with the Street Profits.
See, I don't count Bobby as a manager, though. It's because the whole thing of, like, he's still an active wrestler.
Yeah.
Like, I look
MVP Omos?
I mean, Omos is never on TV anymore. Can I really count MVP still being there?
Rhea Ripley and all of Judgment Day?
Yeah, or at least while she's hurt.
Yeah.
Like, it's just... Because, like, the only ones that really come to mind are Paul Heyman. Like, when we had Robert Stone for a while. But, like, he disappeared and then randomly came back again. He's still there.
Yeah,
he decided to show up again.
He's floating around.
Between his fits of alcoholism on screen, he's just hanging around.
Yeah.
But, like, it's just every time I think about it, of like, I don't mind if wrestlers share the same managers. Because before, it was like, at least this is like an older thing for wrestling, for those of you who may be younger. Mind you, I say that like I'm an old head, that I'm like, I watched wrestling when there was black and white television. Like, it's not that. Like, but like, you know, I had an interest in old wrestling, and like when you go back, it'd be like a bunch of wrestlers would share the same manager, because it's like, like you're buying the manager's service.
It's like an agent in sports.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Like, I wouldn't mind if multiple people share an agent, because you know, like they have the whole thing of like, you know, Paul Heyman would come out for anyone in the bloodline.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know, he's associated with a group. But like, that's the whole thing of where, like, I think you could do something like that. Like, it doesn't have to form, like, this super group of, like, look at all these wrestlers that have nothing in common beside, like, that they have Jim, not Jim Cornette, just Jim.
Yeah.
As their manager. Like, I think I know it's kind of like the vanilla, like, that's how you fix people's, like, bad character work. Air quotes around the bad character work. Like, I know that's how you fix it. But it's just the whole problem of, at least in the way that I look at it, of like, it's also the easiest fix.
Yeah. Here's another thing I want to mention, and I'm going to pull this into it because I was thinking about this today, and Zoe Stark fits into this, so it doesn't get away from Zoe. You know what I think WWE has a problem with when it comes to like people being over? Their women's division in general. More so the Raw women's division, but their women's division in general has a lot of people who aren't over. Like, tell me if I'm wrong here. Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, not over right now, which pains me.
Criminal.
It pains me because Soapy, Alba Fire, if you guys are new to wrestling, you don't know, She
Watch her old
was
stuff.
super over. Why did we had Kaylee Ray. Why did we get rid of that? She was so over
honestly,
with
like,
NXT UK.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it even carried over a little bit into
When
like
she
when
was
she
in
came
NXT.
over as Alba Fire, because like her whole little feud she had with Toxic Attraction over, like that was really good. Like,
Yeah.
that was one of the better like cinematic matches they've had. Of where basically it's Toxic Attraction going through the haunted house.
Yeah.
And Gigi being the freak who loves horror movies, like this is the greatest thing that's ever happened.
But I look at it. So Alba Fire, Isla Dawn, they're not over. I'm going down the list here. Indy Hartwell, Candice LeRae, not over. Like and here's how I'm kind of basing it a little bit. Watch their entrance. No pop. Like not even a semi pop. Like it would just be flatline. Maybe a little like wave because
like
people are just talking in general.
In the crowd. Yeah, like there's the 4 people in the crowd who are like, oh my god, it's the first time I've seen them in 4 months.
Let's see. So Ivy Nile, love Ivy Nile, no pop. Let's see. Chance and Carter, I would say semi. Like
they mostly a lot of their reaction
people just
comes
like
from
their
the fact
song.
that they come through. Yeah, like people like their song, and it's also people love when people enter through the crowd.
Yeah. Maxine Dupree, not over. Who else was I looking at today? Would you say that Mia Yim is over still?
No.
Yeah. So she's not over. Naomi, I would say, is over. Piper Niven, is she over because of the Chelsea Green rub off?
It's the weird thing of like people cheer for Piper, but like it's so weird. I'd say she's in like the middle ground of where she's on the cusp of being over, but also like a couple bad moves could knock her right back down.
Shayna's not over.
That one's criminal.
Zoe Starks is not over. And like you had mentioned, Zelina Vega, pretty much LWO, but Zelina Vega, not over.
Yeah, like it's just the fact of realistically, like right now with WWE's women's division, they are so top heavy. Of where realistically, it's like it's kind of the same sort of problem that the women's is kind of a thing that plagues a lot of women's divisions in wrestling in general. Obviously, outside of like Stardom, where it's all women. If your women's division is top heavy, there you got a little bit of a problem.
Seven of those women, by the way, are in the Raw division.
Yeah. So like it's the whole thing where right now it's with the women's division being so top heavy, they're only really cycling between like that small little group.
Yeah.
Of where it's like then when they bring in someone like a Mia Yim, who like we saw, and I mean, mind you, we got to put an asterisk next to it. I'm about to mention NXT and people cheering for people. They cheer for a tire that was on fire if it rolled out of the back.
They cheer. Let's put it this way: they cheered for Natalya. That's all I have to say.
Yeah,
and I'm not saying that's bad. NXT crowds, I love you because you make the show lively. Everyone gets a pop. You make me as a watcher. Like it's not bad, but it's like NXT pops are not an indicator of whether or not you are over or not.
Yeah. I mean, they literally, like, someone could be the first time they've ever looked at a wrestling ring and fans be like, I remember them from somewhere. I like them. Yeah!
I've never seen this person in my life. Yes, you have!
Yeah, they're like, you remember them? It's like, all right, sure. But yeah, like, that's the thing of, it's just such a weird thing of where, like, Mia Yim went from being, like, one of the biggest names in NXT to just an absolute nobody. And the whole thing is, like, honestly, a lot of times, at least for the women's division, it's stop relying so much on just your old guard of women's wrestlers. Like, I hate saying it because obviously, like, who knows how many more years we have of Becky and Charlotte and Bayley. Like, I'm counting them as the old guard because realistically, they've been there the longest. Like, and even at that, like, we're also getting to the point of, like, Asuka's kind of getting older. Who knows how long she'll be around for. Because I think Asuka's, almost pushing 40, I think, somewhere in there. Obviously, I know someone's going to be like, why did age matter? Realistically, wrestlers start falling off around 40. And, I mean, Asuka's style doesn't really rely on athleticism, so it's not super important.
Asuka will be 43 in September.
All right, well, yeah, she passed the 40 mark at this point.
Yeah, she'll be 40. She'll be 43 on September 26th.
Yeah, it's basically just it's wean off of the over reliance of the old guard, because, like, for instance, like the crowd has started to cheer Jade Cargill. Mind you, it's because they built Jade up like a massive deal when she first signed. You know, yada yada yada, that whole shebang. But like, you have it to where it's like it's the weird mixture of like they have such an over reliance on the old guard that they're almost hesitant to try to put new people in, and that it's like someone like a Rhea Ripley only really got over because it's like you can't deny Rhea Ripley's talent.
Yeah.
To where, like, if it just, and obviously, I'm not comparing Rhea Ripley to any of the other women in the women's division. I think Rhea's going to end up being the best women's wrestler of all time by the time she retires. That's not even me being like a mommy person. Like, that's just, I genuinely think Rhea is incredible. But, like, it's just the fact of, like, they don't push anyone new. And, like, the only times they do, they're like, all right, hey, if you can get a reaction from the crowd, we'll think about it. And it's like, well, like, it's the same sort of thing that happened with Zoe. That Zoe's first feud was with Becky, where Becky just basically killed her.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't... It's the whole thing of, like, it's the... I had mentioned it when we had done the NXT predictions of what I'm like, I think it was what, Brooks Jensen was in the match or whatever, and I'm like, it's trying to get people to like Brooks by osmosis of him being around. It
was the triple threat for the NA title at Stand and Deliver. It was Oba, Brooks, and who was it? Dijak, you're right.
Yeah. To where it's like, it's the osmosis of like, hey, do we get people to care about him because, he's with two other fan favorites? Like, they tried to do that with Zoe, but the problem is, like, and I will admit, I think a lot of it does fall onto Zoe as well, of, like I had said before, personality, 0.
Yeah.
But it's just the whole thing that for people to start having a stronger opinion on a lot of the women's wrestlers, you have to showcase them.
I'll be honest.
You can't have it that the fans see, like, sorry, my bad.
You're good.
So, like, my thing is, like, they want people to really care about Mia Yim. Mind you, I like Mia Yim. Like, dead serious, like, I love Mia
Yim's problem was, like you said, she had the HBIC character in NXT that was awesome. She'd come out with the bandana, the backwards hat. She'd be doing her dance. And then they're like, oh, you're on the main roster? And you could blame this on Vince, blame it on not, but Hunter's pretty much hasn't changed anything with it. But it's like, oh, you're here? Get with the OC. You're with AJ and the boys. And it's like, I was watching something, it was like a reel where Anderson's or Gallo, one of the two, was basically like, yeah, like at first it was like I don't really know about this, but then they're like, oh no, she's cool, like this'll work, and she kind of won him over. But I'm sitting there going, she doesn't need you. She didn't need you, and now she's just stuck with the OC and not going anywhere, just stalling, enjoying nice catering.
Yeah, and like it's the whole thing of like, and obviously, it's a major thing that happens of where like, obviously NXT crowds and main roster crowds are entirely different. Like, for instance, like we said, NXT cheers for everything. Like, main roster crowd, who knows? It's a 50-50 shot if they'll like you.
Yeah.
But like, to me, I think someone like Mia Yim could have got the HBIC over. I think that, like, a wrestler like Xia Li, when she got called up, a lot of people were interested in the stuff she was doing.
Not even with the company anymore. She's a free agent now.
Because it's like, when they called her up, like, she would come out and do, like, the whole thing of where, like, I forget, like, what she'd bring out with her.
With she'd just bring out, like, different weapons. The semicircle, like, knife weapons.
It's like I forget what it's called. It's like a Mandarin duck hook, I think is what it's called, or something like that. But basically, like, yeah, she'd come out with that. Trust me, it sounds bad. It's roughly in that area. It's like something duck. But, like, it's the whole thing that, they had this presentation and people were interested in Xia Li, and you just fed her to the old guard.
Yeah.
Did nothing with her, and they're like, well, she couldn't get over. Well, yeah, no wonder they couldn't get over. It's the whole problem of, this is why I say they over-rely on the old guard, and they need to start understanding that to build stars in the women's division, you need to have the old guard lose. Because realistically, like, when Charlotte comes back, like, remember how quickly Rhea's momentum almost died as soon as she lost to Charlotte?
Yeah. At
It was almost
WrestleMania.
dead on arrival.
Yeah.
Like, it's like everyone loved Rhea. She lost, felt dead in the water afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like the fact that they almost had it that we wouldn't have gotten the Rhea we have now. Because, you know, if they had just been like, well, guys, no one reacts anymore.
Well,
like, she has to suck.
For the Rhea we got now, we got to thank one person. You know who that is, right?
Edge.
Without Judgment Day, we don't get Mommy. We don't get Rhea.
Yeah. To where, like, it's the whole thing of where it's like, you have to just take a shot on some of these people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's the whole thing. For instance, I can't believe I have to say it. I have to praise VKM on something.
Okay.
Don't shoot me, guys. I promise.
Go ahead.
It pains me to have to say this. He was right about Roman all along. He did the right thing with Roman. Of just constantly throwing him at you. Of like, I don't care if you don't like him now. You will like him at some point.
Well, I'm conflicted.
Because, like, the only thing... Because, like, and mind you, as much as, you know, the vocal Twitter fans didn't like him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was still a top merch seller. Even pre, you know, Tribal Chief. Like, he was still a top merch seller, mind you, also in one of the worst time periods, but that's beside the point.
I got a question for you about that. I was having a conversation with Jake. I want to see where you sit. If someone said, when it comes to the Tribal Chief, not the Bloodline, the Tribal Chief, if someone said that the division between people who hate and people who love was divided exactly 50-50, would you say true or false?
I think it's false.
Okay. Do you think there's more people who like or hate?
I think more people like it.
Okay.
I think it's a lot of people...
I was a 50-50. I made that statement.
Yeah, it's my belief, and I mean, we can get back to
Go ahead. Yeah.
What I was talking about before or afterwards. But, like, I think that it is a situation of a lot of the hate for, like, initial version of Tribal Chief was carryover of the hate people already had for Roman.
Okay.
To where it was like oh god, we're back to this again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Roman's gonna fight Brock how many times now?
Yeah, the thing I always hated, and I just got to get this out here, is I hate really long reigns. Like, I'll step that back. I hate uninteresting long reigns. And after a while, I'll pretty much say after the Sami Zayn stuff was over and WrestleMania 39 happened, it was almost sitting there like, all right, so I got to wait until WrestleMania 40 now for this. I got to wait a whole nother year of this reign before it can get... Oh, and he's just not going to be on SmackDown all the time? Like, I'm just never going to get to see the champion? Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. And I mean, like... And I mean, it kind of just becomes push and shove at that point of, like, what people are interested in.
Yeah.
But... like, kind of going back to, like, the women's division part. Of, like, and I don't want to just have it that we're only dogpiling on the women's division.
But that's where most of the the non-over people are.
Yeah. I think it's just at the same time, though, and because I can wrap it around to at least a person that I think is never going to get over, and it's just because the way they currently book them.
Ooh.
It's a person that...
Ooh. I kind of want to guess, but I don't.
I mean, you can take a guess.
Candice LeRae?
Okay. We'll hold off on it because... So what I'm going to do, because it's a guy...
Oh, okay.
I'll finish up what I have to say with women.
I thought it was a girl. Continue.
No. Candice LeRae, I also think, is a person that they just misuse her.
Yeah.
Like, the whole thing is, like, they don't
Alexa Bliss 2.0.
I mean, even at that, like, if you notice a lot of the stuff that she was doing in the indies that everyone loved, she's a hardcore wrestler at heart.
Yeah.
Like, there are so many pictures of her having, like, her face just covered in blood.
Basically, just make her the female version of Darby Allin.
Basically. I watched her get, like, 5 feet off the ground after taking a lumbar check from Cedric. That is still one of the best sells to a finisher I've ever seen.
Uh-huh.
like, you could have told me that if he did that close enough to, like, the ring post, that she could have landed on top of it.
I also think they need to make her a heel and not a face on the main roster. She's better as a heel.
She's like a tweener.
She's so much better as a heel, though, dude. Like,
yeah.
It's like, yet again, it's like Alexa Bliss to me, where Alexa, kind of that tweener, but Alexa was so much better as a heel than she ever was as a face.
Yeah, I think it's just, like, they don't play into anyone's strength.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, for instance, like, you know, Candice is a hardcore wrestler.
Yeah.
You know, let her do hardcore wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Don't try to have her be like, oh, like, I'm going to have a 15-minute technical masterpiece with this person who's not also a technical master.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's the same thing of, like, it's the same thing that, I know I just said the same thing twice, trust me, I know. Brain's turning off because it started kicking into full gear, alright?
AEW full gear.
Yeah. But no, like, it's, the main thing, at least for me, is, like, when I look at someone like Shayna, I think Shayna is easily the biggest dropped ball that the main roster's women's division has had in so long. And it's literally because the fact of, like, genuinely, she is a person, all she needs is someone to talk for her.
Mm-hmm.
I can't listen to Naruto talk to me and be like, that, you know what? You're right, Naruto. Believe it.
She does sound like Naruto.
Like, I'm sorry. I can't listen to Naruto talk to me and be like, yeah, you get him, Naruto. Believe it.
She does sound like Naruto. I forgot about that. Yeah, I'm so hooked on Mid Morgan sounding like Meg Griffin.
Yeah, like, it's just, people, just please put her with a manager. I don't even care if it's a like.
Who's the perfect manager for Shayna? Go.
I mean, I'd like to say Paul Heyman, because once again, it's the whole thing.
We can't just have everyone be. We just can't have Paul be the guy.
No, but, like, someone like Paul, because the whole thing was, like, when Paul, and mind you, I'm not comparing these two wrestlers, all right?
Yeah.
Before anyone tries to crucify me on this, I'm not comparing these two. It's like when Brock was with, it's when Brock was with Paul when he came back from UFC. Paul sold the UFC Sorry, my brain just turned off again.
I don't even know what word you said. There's a part of me that's like, do I bleep that? Was that what I think it was?
No, I said UFC fart on accident. I'm like, wait, no. It's UFC part. You were like, as soon as he came back from the UFC, Paul Heyman sold this like that. He is going to actually kill someone.
Yeah.
Because now he is the toughest guy in this locker room. Shayna Baszler has actual UFC experience. Granted, not the greatest, not the same as Brock, but, like, you know, still UFC experience. Use that. Like, genuinely, I'm not even gonna lie. You ready for who currently outside of Paul Heyman that she should have been paired with?
Who?
Paul Ellering.
Yep.
Because one, Final Testament doesn't need two managers.
Boy, Karrion and Paul.
Well, no, it's Scarlett.
Oh,
because they're never going to have Scarlett wrestle for some reason.
Oh,
she's a good wrestler.
She's good too.
Yeah, she was incredible in TNA/Impact. Like, let her wrestle, and, like, you don't need two managers for a group. So put Paul with someone else, specifically, you know, with Shayna, because Paul can talk for her. Shayna wrestles. Now, mind you, I understand. Shayna is not the greatest in-ring worker. She gets kind of boring. The only thing is, I point this out to any of you people that are going to bash this. If you have Natalya as your profile picture on Twitter and you say that Shayna Baszler is a boring wrestler, I have very bad news for you.
Okay, Wade.
You're lucky I don't have a gavel, all right? Like, I hate to break it to you. They're the same wrestler. They're both boring on the mic. And they're just like they're okay. Like, obviously, you know, I know people are going to be like, oh, wow, you're going to say you're telling you sucks, but I don't care. None of you guys are relevant. I'm not relevant either. None of this matters ever. But, like, it's just the fact of play into your wrestler's strengths. Stop trying to have them be things they're not. Shayna's not a tag wrestler. Stop trying to put her with random people. And honestly, even if, and genuinely, the fact that they lean away from the UFC part of her career.
Yeah.
Is like, you know, that's what got people to like her in NXT, right? Because it'd be like she's an actual threat in the ring because she has actual fight experience. Like, it's the whole thing that they started doing, like, with Sonya. when Sonya was still a wrestler. I don't know if she still wrestles or not. I know there's like the weird thing.
We haven't seen her in a while.
Yeah, I don't know if she's retired or not. It's, obviously, I know she had the whole thing with like the stalker, and I think she just recently got married.
Yeah.
So, congratulations on the marriage part, not the stalker part. I'm happy that guy, I think, is in jail.
Dude, by the way, quick aside, not going to go into it, but if you guys haven't, watch the police interview with that guy. Totally messed up.
Yeah, no, that guy's
totally
an
messed
nut
up.
job.
Yeah, like I watch. It's a good like half hour to hour watch. But if you like watching messed up people and try to get into their heads, go ahead and watch it. You can find it.
That's definitely a peek into a very messed up individual. But like, my just final thoughts for getting like a lot of the women in the women's division over is just let them play into their strengths. If their strength is that they're a good worker and they're not a good talker, find people to talk for them.
I got 2 people that I would pair with Shayna as their manager.
All right.
One, do you want the main, like the super mainstream one first, or the like more realistic one first?
Let's do the super mainstream one.
Conor McGregor.
Oh God.
I would bring Conor in to be her man. One of the best trash talkers in UFC. You bring him in to be her manager. If you can't get Conor, I'm going to, yet again, going the UFC route. I'm going Michael Bisping. Again, another trash talker. And Bisping is retired from actual, like, fighting. All he does is, like, the pregame, postgame, like, kind of like the announcer stuff for UFC. You could easily try to get him in. Like, you have TKO, you have Dana White. Use that resource to get somebody who can talk for these people. What if Bisping just came and it's like you said, all right, Zoe, Shayna, these are my 2. I'm their talker. I'm coming in. I'm going to tell you why they're so great.
Yeah, that's all you need is just you need someone to sell these people.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's also like, and I think one of the main things that at least killed Shayna's push right away was that Shayna just got put into a bunch of stupid matches.
Yep.
To where it was just like, why is she fighting half these people? Like, realistically, and I stand by it, and this is my thing that I talked about before of being too hesitant to move on from the old guard. She should have beat Becky.
Yeah.
She 1000% should have beat Becky, because that killed her entire momentum.
The thing I loved about her in NXT, and tell me if I'm wrong, she was like a mix of Brock and Samoa Joe.
A little bit.
Like she was the UFC like tough girl, like tough MMA fighter from the Brock side. The Joe side was that entrance. She walks out and you're like, oh, okay, she means business.
Yeah, it's like
she like Shayna's gonna kill you like every time.
Yeah. Yeah, well, because there's that, and there's also the fact of, like, they build up the entire time, like, you're not getting out of her submission if she gets it in.
Yeah.
It's like, the second she gets that, or it's what, because hers the Kirifuda clutch, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's like, the second she gets the clutch in, you lose.
Uh-huh.
Because it's like, what, I think there's 2 people who have gotten out of it. I think one of them's Becky and one of them's Rhea.
Yeah.
To where it's just like, I mean, like, as much as, I love, protected finishers, beside, that, Baron Corbin lost his, and I'm still upset.
I will say Baron Corbin would be like a B+ manager for Shayna or Zoe. He wouldn't be a bad choice, but he wouldn't be like my top choice.
Yeah. All right, so Ricky, do you have any final thoughts on how to get the women's division over?
I got a hot take about the women. I don't know if it's true or not.
Go ahead.
Zelina Vega was better as a manager. More over as a manager.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really think that's a hot take. I think that's like a mild take.
I'm not saying that she's like a bad wrestler. She can wrestle, but she was way better when it's like, oh, she was Andrade's manager.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of times that there are people who are just better managers. But
she's in the LWO vortex of like she's mixed up with
where it's like
Ray's gravitational pull has all these people in and they can't get away from Ray.
Yeah, to where it's just like hey, that's the guy who comes out with Ray. Like honestly, I'm not looking forward to the fact that like if they don't get Dragon Lee out of the LWO, it's gonna kill him.
Yeah,
like it's gonna kill it, because at this point they're just like, oh, he's just Rey Mysterio 2.0, and I'm like, he's not that. I understand he wears a mask. He's not Rey Mysterio 2.0.
He's Kalisto 2.0.
It's like, just get him out of there.
Lucha, lucha, lucha.
All right.
Was the guy you were talking about earlier? Is it Bronson Reed?
It is Bronson.
Okay.
For anyone who has never paid attention, I'm not saying that in a mean way, of when Bronson Reed ever shows up on my screen, I get very annoyed. And it's for one very specific reason. I am tired.
You don't like
I am tired of Triple H acting like anyone cares about him.
Oh.
I want people to tell me one notable thing he did beside talking about being fat one time. Nothing. Not a peep.
I like how Vince released him. Vince gets pushed away. First thing Hunter does, I got to get my boy Bronson back.
Yeah, and then no one has cared since. Because, once again, it's the whole problem of, and this is my main complaint I have with the booking of WWE, is when he puts people that no one cares about in a match, he's just like, oh, by osmosis, people will like him. No one reacts to Bronson Reed. We already have the fat guy we like. That's Otis. Get Bronson Reed a new character at this point.
We felt really bad when Chad slapped him last Monday.
Yeah, everyone cares. Ricky, the fact that Otis gets more of a reaction than Bronson Reed, and Bronson Reed has constantly been in the IC title picture since he's been called back. Volumes.
Is Bronson Reed mid-card big dog?
No.
He's the mid-carder that's just constantly pushed down your face.
Yeah. Like, realistically, it's the same sort of thing of, like, where Karrion's at. Over, like, Karrion and Bronson Reed, to me, follow the same thing.
Karrion used to be so over.
Oh, yeah, until Adam Cole absolutely murdered him.
Oh, NXT Karrion was so over.
Yeah, until Adam Cole murdered him, but that's besides the point.
He put him in
that
the
Adam Cole promo. Yeah, that killed the entire momentum. But, like, outside of that, like, it's the fact of, they constantly just keep being like, guys, look, isn't Karrion Kross cool? We turn the screen black and white when he comes out, guys. Isn't that cool? And we're like, can he do something good? And they're like, maybe. They're like, he's spooky and he's got a hot wife.
Hey man, when we were at Survivor Series, we got to see him beat Cedric Alexander in a dark match.
Dude, Cedric got a louder reaction than he did. I need people to understand this. We were there in person. Yep. I didn't hear a peep when he finished his entrance. Not a peep.
You're talking about Karrion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Literally in the middle of the match. Cedric, every time he pointed him, we'd all boo. Cedric pointed at himself, we all cheered. No one likes Cross. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I'll be honest. A lot of the people that Trips has brought back, that Vince fired, all suck. No one cares about them. Because it's basically, you're banking on the, like, guys, remember when they were in NXT and I treated them like a really big deal? Even though no one also really cared about Bronson Reed NXT either? Like, and I know someone's going to be a Bronson Reed defender. I'm going to call it the one person who likes Bronson Reed in the world. And they're going to flood to this like a Karrion.
Since you're such a big Bronson Reed hater, how do you fix it? How do you get him over? Like, you say he needs a new gimmick. Do you know what that is? Or is this just like it ain't working, but something needs to be different?
Something needs to be different. Because the whole thing was, when they started doing the weird, like, big meaty men thing in WWE for a little bit,
Big E's got to come back and be his manager.
I mean, not even that. Like,
Big E assembles the Big Meaty Men Club.
Yeah, but, like, it's just the fact
the BMMC.
that, like, he continues, like, he has no character. Like, Bronson Reed just shows up and is like, I get a title match, and they're just like, okay,
all right,
sure. I don't know when the last time you cut a promo was. Literally, the last thing I remember was people like, hey, Bronson Reed didn't go to the show in Australia, and he's from Australia. And everyone was like, I mean, we didn't miss him.
That was because his kid was born, though.
Yeah. But, like, it's the fact that there's not a soul that was like, damn, I can't believe it, guys. We didn't get to see Bronson Reed. It's like they sent every other Australian that anyone cared about over there.
Yeah.
To where it's just like, no one missed Bronson Reed. No one was like, man, you know what? we really do miss Bronson Reed in this household.
He almost got lost defending the chamber from pirates.
Yeah. I mean, who knows, dude? He could have been on that boat. Maybe he was one of the pirates. He knew he wasn't on the pay-per-view. He got mad.
I just, like, with Bronson Reed, like, I don't even know if a character change would help. Because, like, so I'm going to say this. I like Braun Strowman. But Bronson Reed is, like, tier below. Like, he's like Braun Strowman, but down a tier.
Yeah.
Like Braun Strowman isn't, like, super over either.
I mean, people still cheer when he does the stupid train thing, though.
Yeah, but that's about it. Like, Braun Strowman's not, and it's not a bad thing.
Braun Strowman just never shows up anymore.
Well, true, and plus he got, like, you know, let go, came back, let go, came back.
Yeah.
But, like, I look at Bronson Reed and I go, all right, you're big. Otis is big. He's got a personality. I like him.
Ivar's big.
I like him. Dude, talk about somebody who lost their tag partner. It's like, well, I don't know what they're going to do with him. And then they gave him a new gimmick, put him on NXT. He got hurt again.
They put a Viking in jeans.
Dude,
I can't believe
Biker
it.
Ivar. Biker Ivar.
Dude, I was not ready for that shift from Viking to biker.
Dude, but it works, though. It works,
It does work.
Like,
I watched that man jump off the middle rope in jeans.
I'll put it this way.
Right.
I like Brutus Creed more than I like Bronson Reed.
Yeah,
there are other guys that look like Bronson Reed that are doing it better.
Yeah, it's the fact of, like, Bronson Reed is so heavily reliant. And I know someone's going to be like, wow, you guys are talking about Bronson Reed a lot. He's just the example that comes to mind.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's just not over. That's the whole point of the podcast.
Yeah. But, like, the whole thing is, like, genuinely, it's just giving him a character.
Mm-hmm.
That's not just, hey, guys, you remember the one time we were obsessed with fat people in WWE for, like, 2 months?
Mm-hmm.
That I was one of them.
Yeah.
Because he just doesn't do anything. It's the second you give it to where Bronson Reed is able to show personality.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I am always down to give someone a second chance in wrestling,
mm-hmm.
even if I don't like them, because it's like, you can still win me back.
Yeah.
Bronson Reed is one of those wrestlers I just look at and I'm like, I don't think you could win me back if you never change anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it's to the same point with Cross, but honestly, I'm just going to say it now. I think Cross is just dead in the water. I don't, like, Cross is a person, he needs to go back to NXT and he needs to stay in NXT.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think his main roster push is just dead in the water.
Honestly, I think AOP would be better on their own with Paul Ellering.
Yeah, like, they were better before they ever got paired with anyone.
Yeah.
Like, it's just the fact of, like, Karrion Kross is dead in the water. He got a reaction when he went back to NXT, mind you, that doesn't say a lot.
Yeah.
But, like, have him just go back to NXT, work back up down there,
mm-hmm.
and then move on and be like, hey, if he gets to the point where his character's really good again, call him back up and try again.
Mm-hmm. I'll put it this... Go ahead.
Because, like, honestly, at this point, that's what WWE needs to start doing. Because you know a person who I think absolutely revitalized their career, and I think it was the best thing they could have done?
Ooh, let me guess. What brand?
I don't remember where they got drafted to. I think it's SmackDown.
Is it Austin Theory with the tag team A-Town Down Under?
No, I'm talking about a person that they got sent back to NXT and they just recently came back.
Baron Corbin.
Yeah, Baron Corbin's career has been revitalized because of that. Because he was dead in the water.
Well, he also got the Braun Breaker rub.
Yeah.
The Wolf Dogs was amazing. It showed the comedic chops of Baron Corbin.
Yeah, like, they let Baron Corbin be himself. Because if anyone's ever watched Up, Up, Down, Down, Baron Corbin is hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, he is genuinely super funny. Like, let him be himself. Don't just have, like, and obviously, we saw a little bit of the comedic stuff, like, when he did, like, the Bad Luck Corbin, or, like, Broke Corbin.
Happy Corbin.
But then, like,
Sad Corbin.
No, Happy Corbin sucks.
But then Sad
That was also
Corbin.
just yeah, Sad Corbin was the good one, because that's when he's, like, he's putting on Twitter, like, pictures of him, and he's like, guys, I won $5 I can eat tonight.
Happy Corbin was him and JBL.
Yeah, well, it was also when he was paired with Riddick Moss.
Yeah. Who's no longer with the company.
Yeah. I mean, Riddick Moss sucked. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to try to dance around that. But, like, that's the thing. It's like, it's just, realistically, it's right now, you have to reevaluate what you have in some of these people.
Mm-hmm.
Of where, like, because Karrion Kross is one that, I mean, I already said like a cajillion times at this point, dead in the water. Like, you're not going to get people to start caring for him. Because I also think as well,
Mm-hmm.
Karrion Kross is the biggest victim of everyone's tired of spooky gimmicks.
So does that mean Uncle Howdy this upcoming Saturday is going to be dead in the water? Dead on arrival?
Yes. I mean, with all the rumored members of it, this group's going to stink anyways. Like, sorry to burst anyone's bubble that's like a big Uncle Howdy guy.
Mm-hmm.
They built the group around Bo Dallas.
You gotta believe, Soapy. You gotta believe.
Yeah, they built a group around a guy that they put in a job squad.
The B team. B team was awesome though.
Not even just that. There was
the
actually
Mr.
the time
Osh.
that he revived. Yeah, there was also the time that he literally revived the job squad with him.
Oh.
With him, Axel, Heath Slater, and there was like one other person in the group. I forget who it was.
The job squad.
They literally revived the job squad, and Bo Dallas was in it. We have the job squad guy being the centerpiece of a faction. Disgusting. Dead on arrival. No one's going to care. The only reason anyone's going to give that gimmick and that whole storyline even a sniff of a care is because it has something to do with Bray.
Mm-hmm.
The second, and I'm dead serious, and you guys can quote me on this if I am wrong. You write it down, Ricky.
Oh, that's the first one. I thought
write
we were
down
gonna,
the swear.
I thought we were gonna go clean.
Yep, sorry. I am passionate. Write down the swear, and as well write down me declaring the second that that people, and it's gonna sound weird when I word it because I'm gonna end up wording it wrong. The second that people move past Bray being dead, no one will care about this group. It'll be dead on arrival, and you're going to kill the careers of, I mean, one, Eric Rowan's never going to do anything anyways. But, like, you're going to kill Joe Gacy's momentum straight into the garbage. Nikki Cross is going to be dead in the water. Anyone else in the group is dead in the water. Because you now attach them to Bo Dallas, who, guess what? Main roster crowds didn't care about him the last time he was here.
So just so I have this right, I wrote it down. Second move past Bray, Howdy is DEA.
Yes.
Okay. Or DOA.
Yeah. It's no one will care about this group. The only reason anyone cares is because it has Bray's name with it.
Mm-hmm.
That is the only reason. Because I challenge anyone out there to tell me how it's interesting that we have the guy that we were already tired of hearing about when Bray was still with us.
Yeah.
And now we're building the group around that guy who we were already tired of.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to be like, guys, he gets all the stuff from Bray's past. You remember the nostalgia trip of, you know, guys, look, Eric Rowan's here. Yippee! Hey, guys, Joe Gacy, who has nothing to do with Bray. Yippee!
Who has nothing to do with Bray.
Yeah, it's like, it's the fact that this is just going to happen and it's going to stink. And don't, in a year, if we do this podcast again, you know what I get to do? I get to be like, hey,
Victory
who
lap.
was right? Yeah, victory lap. I'll be like, huh, who would have thought the Bo Dallas sucks?
Mm-hmm.
Who would have thunk it?
So, you know who else is, not to move away from Uncle Howdy, but to move away from Uncle Howdy.
I'm just giving my prediction of who's going to be on this list if we do it again next year.
You know who else are two male wrestlers that it's funny because I remember a time in the VKM era where they were pushed like, oh, let's push them. They could be big deals. And now they're just, they're in the tag team vortex. Angel Garza, and I'm sorry. Maybe I haven't been paying close enough. When did Humberto become Berto?
He got that a while ago.
When did we drop the off of Berto?
A while ago. Dude, you don't even have to.
I saw that today. I was like, what did they do to Humberto?
Yeah, dude, you don't even need to try to sell me on them dropping the ball with Angel Garza.
No,
dude,
I'm not saying drop the ball. I'm just saying, like, these are guys where it's like, I don't know, like, and I hate to say this, I don't know if they're fixable. Meaning, I don't know if they can get over now.
See, I think they can. Because you want to know how you do it with Angel Garza?
You make him Eddie Guerrero?
No, you give him back the exact thing he was doing in NXT that got people to like him. Where basically he just did the I'm hot.
Yeah.
That was his whole character. Literally.
When they brought him up to the main roster, it was the second he gave Nia Jax a rose, I'm like, okay, this guy's blind. This guy's absolutely blind. There's no way a guy who looks as good as Angel Garza is going to give Nia Jax a rose.
It's
just saying.
That
trust me, I know girls aren't giving me roses either.
Yeah, like I know
because I'm a taken man, Soapy. That was the joke. I'm a taken man.
No one sends me roses because I'm fat and ugly. but like the only reason that I get so mad about the Angel Garza stuff is because I saw how much people got behind him. Because realistically, like one, I know people are always like that finisher looks stupid. It doesn't look like it makes sense. You're gonna tell me that half the finishers in wrestling make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Like, for instance, you're going to tell me that all of a sudden that Big Show's punch that he just, like, was, like, the deadliest thing to ever happen to humanity?
Speaking of finishers, you know what I can't wait for, Soapy?
Huh.
I wish I could fast forward. I don't care if it's, like, years in the making. Cannot wait till the day Sol Ruka is ready to get called up and the main roster fans go nuts over the different variations on her finisher.
Yeah, it's going to be insane.
Oh, it's going to blow the roof off of places.
Yeah, like, it's just the fact that there's so many wrestlers that they had momentum and they get called up and they just needlessly change something.
Mm-hmm.
You did not need to change, Humberto, realistically, they pushed him just because it was like, he's athletic.
Well, he fell into it was like we're going to stick him with Ray. He's the next Ray. Oh, wait, we got Dominic. Get out of here, Humberto. We got Dominic. Dominic is the next Ray.
It's the whole problem of the entire search for them looking for the next big Hispanic star.
Yeah, we've been looking for the next Ray, for like 6-7 years now?
2 decades at this point. Because for a while we're looking for the next Eddie, and they're like, wait, we've had the next Eddie the whole time in Ray. Wow.
Wow.
And they're like, all right, now we need the new Ray. And they're like, all right, Sin Cara. Oh, he sucks. All right, new Sin Cara.
Kalisto.
Sin Cara 2.0. Better than original Sin Cara. Also sucks. Well, damn. All right, Kalisto. All right, well, damn. All right, well, what about Grand Metalik? What about that one?
Grand Metalik. Who was the third? Who was the third one in that?
I don't remember.
Kalisto, Grand Metalik. I think it was Sin Cara. Was it?
It wasn't Sin Cara. Sin Cara was out of the company. I forget what his name is. Because it's the one who wore the cat mask.
No, that was Grand Metalik. I think.
I could have sworn Grand Metalik, I think, was the one who had the long hair. I think.
Lindsay Dorado.
Yeah. Like, you had all of the people, like, it's, at some point you have to realize, it's not a damn luchador that's going to replace Ray. And genuinely, I'm not even BSing, I don't know if it's in the Discord, but I had talked about it multiple times. I'm like, Angel Garza is the next Ray. Like, he's the next big Hispanic star. It's the only problem is, it's the same problem they run into every single time. And I don't know if it's just the wrestlers don't want to do it or WWE doesn't push them enough for it. None of them want to learn to speak English. Or they don't attempt to learn to speak English better than they already do.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to put a cap on people and be like, oh, you can't be a big star if you don't speak English. Realistically, it's the fact it puts a cap on you when you are in America. It's like the same thing that, like, for instance, let's say you bring over a wrestler that can only speak Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
The cap on that ceiling is very low now because the crowds are going to be like.
By the way, you were right. Lindsay Dorado was Catman.
Yeah, but like it's the whole thing of Angel Garza. Literally, all you had to do was either pair him with someone who can talk for him, or just be like, "Hey, can you please learn a little bit more English?" I don't know, like how fluent he is with English because he didn't talk a whole lot in NXT.
Yeah, but here's the thing with the whole Japanese thing. Trips has solved that. Just let them speak Japanese and put subtitles.
Yeah, it's just it's the weird thing though of
I don't know if it's because I have a little bit of weeb in me and I like anime, but dude, whenever EO or like when Shinsuke was cutting those promos where it's like them talking to a camera in Japanese, like it just felt villainous. Like this is the anime villain kind of spitting his monologue to the hero. And it was just like, oh, that's intimidating. I don't know if it's because I got a little weeb in me, but dude, that's all you need to do. Just let him speak Japanese and put subtitles below.
Yeah, because it's like, it's find a way to work around it. Because obviously, Humberto ran into the problem of he got called up during the VKM era.
Yeah.
So there's the whole problem.
We need you to be Rey Mysterio right now, kid.
You kind of look like Eddie, pal.
Achoo! And he's just sitting there for 20 minutes. He's just sitting there for 20 minutes mad that he couldn't control his sneeze.
Yeah, where it's just like, it's the fact that you have someone, like, obviously, Ray is the guy now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's be real here, no one's gonna, or not Ray, Dom.
Yep.
Like, Dominic's the guy now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, realistically, Dom is going to be the poster child, the next big Hispanic star. Fine.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the fact that you look at it and of like, guys like Humberto, guys like Angel Garza don't get reactions anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Of where it's just like, I remember where you were. Not so much Humberto, because Humberto had the weird thing that like people liked him because he was super athletic.
Yeah.
Still one of the coolest entrances in wrestling, and I will fight people on that, when he would jump from like the floor through like the bottom rope.
His whole like green and black attire at first, it gave me Hurricane vibes. I'm not gonna lie.
Make him a superhero.
Make him a superhero. Nicky Ash 2.0.
Dude, I don't know why. Random aside before we get back to the conversation.
Go ahead.
I randomly watched like the Hurricanes Titantron today. I do not remember it being that bad.
Yeah.
I don't remember it being as bad as it's just him.
Yeah.
And just flying around everyone, occasionally looking at the camera.
Same as Mighty Molly. Mighty Molly's was the same thing. It's her flying, like looking at the camera.
I mean, I respect it.
Oh.
But yeah, like, it's just, right now, there's just so many people when you look at it, and it's just like, you have so much potential to be better. Like, because realistically, like, I mean, wrestlers like Apollo was always going to kind of have a cap ceiling, just because, initially, I think
he was another one, though, went down to NXT, refined his craft, and then benefited from it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I may as well bring up the guy I don't want to bring up, but like, I gotta do it because we gotta talk about people not really caring about him on their own. I guess we gotta bring up Austin Theory, but like,
because you love Austin Theory.
I do. I love him. Like, no one can change my mind. I don't care if Austin Theory, had the whole stupid golden egg thing. I don't care. You can fight your mom about it. I didn't care about the golden egg.
You fight your mom about it. Oh.
Like, it's just the fact of, realistically, at this point, like, he's in the weird middle ground of, like, everyone's waiting for the next thing with him. Because everyone's like, all right, so when's he going to be the good guy out of the group? Because we know it's going to be him. Because realistically, everyone loves Waller as a heel.
Yeah, but I'll be honest. I like Theory better as a heel, too. Theory, I think, works better as a heel.
I stand by it. And I know I will receive crap for it. I have talked about it on the show. I didn't think I'd ever be calling for something from the VKM era to ever come back.
The selfie.
Please give him the selfie gimmick back.
Give him the selfie gimmick.
Please. One, those are the greatest pictures that have ever existed on the internet.
That's Logan Paul's thing. He's the megastar.
He doesn't even take selfies. He did it twice.
I like how I can know how mad Soapy is with how high pitched his voice gets.
I hate it. I hate the fact that people are like, "Oh, it's Logan Paul's thing. He did it twice."
Really, it's Tyler Breeze's thing, if we're being honest.
Well, Tyler Breeze got fired. He doesn't matter anymore. He doesn't.
But he's still with the company. He's still with the company somehow.
He just gets put into games because they're like, "Oh, well, he has to be in them. He's the only reason GM mode got to come back."
We can get Tyler Breeze, but we can't get a Fandango, a Fandango.
I mean, he's not associated with up, down, down. So. But no, like, that's just the thing of it's just give Theory something interesting. I'm tired of Theory's thing being that he's buff. I don't care. You are not the only buff person. It's like the same thing. Quickly going.
Guess
back
what?
To the women.
Most wrestlers are buff.
Yeah. It's like quickly going back to the women thing of like they made Raquel's whole character like, guys, look at my back.
She's
my back's buff.
She's the trip queen.
Yeah, until you realize she doesn't even have the best traps in the women's division because Rhea and Jade have her beat.
Yeah.
So it's like, damn, the trap queen is like the trap runner-up.
But she used to have the best traps.
Yeah, when, everyone didn't work out. It'd be like, guys, look, I pick up weights every once in a while. I got some traps.
When everyone didn't work out.
But no, like, that's just the whole thing of, I'm tired of the fact that they just keep putting stupid gimmicks on people, and they just take away their character and what made them interesting and fun. And they're just like, well, I mean, yeah, you guys should care about him. Guys, look, it's Austin Theory.
Yeah.
Or the fact of, I will still continue to say, every single thing Triple H has done with Theory has been worse than Vince. And I will fight people on that.
Comment section. Let them know.
Yeah, I'll fight with you guys in the comments. I don't care. You can try to tell me, like, but he had his reign with the title there. Shut up. All right? One, the fact that it was literally for 5 months straight after Trips took over, that Austin Theory didn't win a single damn match.
Yeah.
And was getting demolished in those matches, mind you. And they're like, guys, look, he still has the briefcase. Oh, he can win the title. Oh, wait, he cashed in on a mid-card belt and lost.
And lost.
After Seth got beat up.
That was the whole Bobby-Seth match, right? For the U.S. title?
Yeah, because it was Bobby... Seth got disqualified because Bobby threw him through a table, and Theory's like, hey, here I come! And then Bobby speared him, and he got stomped, and it's just like, all right, cool. It's nice to know the refs can once in their life, be like, oh, okay, I'm not going to question the cash-in. It's happening.
Only with Damian. Only with Bisexual Undertaker.
Yeah, only with I was about to call him something else, but I can't call him that on stream. But, it's the fact that it's just, when they kill momentum and then people turn around and be like, well, why does no one care? I wonder why. Could it be you took the entire momentum Theory was building up and just been kind of just pissed all over it and be like, guys, look, why does no one care anymore? It's like, that annoys me. And then people will be like, oh, Theory just actually was never good. Shut up. Theory's better than any of your favorites, all right? And someone's going to be like, actually, my Theory is at 2015 Seth Rollins. Someone's going to pull that. I know it's going to happen.
Maybe Theory will be on his own again. Maybe he will. Maybe he's got to continue being a tag champion with Grayson Waller. Maybe it's working out for him, Soapy. But sadly, we have run out of time today, Soap. As I have to end this before our outro becomes part 2 on the video, on the audio recording. So it's like part 1, everything. Oh, let's go over to part 2, see what it is. Oh, it's just the outro. It's just Ricky saying goodbye to everyone. But let us know who, we obviously talked a lot about non-over wrestlers. Who do you think is the most, not that, I don't want to ask that question. Who do you want to see put over? Out of everyone that's not over, who's the one that you're like, oh, I wish that they get over first? That's what I want to know. I want to know because for me, I want Zoe Stark. I want Shayna Baszler to be over. Mia Yim would probably be my choice because she should already be over. I'm assuming your pick would be Austin Theory with how you...
Yes. Yes.
Somebody just went on a rant.
Yes.
But let us know down below. Hit that like button, that sub button. Discord's in the description down below. Our socials. You can check out Patreon if you want to support us. Soapy's Twitter's down there. My Twitter's down there. You can hit us up there as well. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Actually, we'll be back later in the week because we got King of the Ring and AEW stuff to do. Got to talk to you about that because there's one thing. I know we talked about what day to record, but there's one thing that I forgot about that I think we'll have to wait for. But yeah, let us know what you guys think down below. We'll be back with the regular podcast. It's not a prediction in 2 weeks. Thank you, Soapy. My mother brother. What's up, dude? Yeah, the Hulk Hogan's dead. He went to sleep. He's like, we're up too late. I went to sleep.
Yeah, Hogan's out to pasture.
Hogan's out to pasture for today.
Hogan went to the wrestling farm.
Thank you guys for everything you do. As always, have a good day, everybody.
Bye.
As always, we'd like to thank the people who make these videos possible, our patrons whose names are displayed on the screen now. If you'd like to become a patron, click the link in the description below, and if you'd like to check out another video from MVP Entertainment, hit the video in the upper left. As always, thanks for watching.